Good morning. Today is my last weekend before I take off on a trip. So my mission for this weekend is to get everything prepared for the trip. I did see that I received all the time off that I asked for. I also need to do my usual routine of emptying the toilet, getting things cleaned up in the bus. I did a little bit better job of keeping things clean during the week, but I was working 11-hour days again for some reason, and so things did get a little bit messier than I intended. And then otherwise, I need to cancel my car insurance. I did sell my car. They went and picked it up a couple of weeks ago. I completely forgot that I never actually put this in any of my videos because it was relatively uneventful, and I didn't really have much footage to show of it, so it ended up getting cut out of another video that I made. But I do need to cancel the insurance on the car, so that's another thing I need to do today. And of course, it's going to be really painful because I'm switching insurance companies, and I have to call a number and have them try to talk me into keeping my insurance with a company that I no longer have anything to insure through. They won't insure this bus. I also need to do my laundry this week, and it ended up being a really perfect time to do laundry, so I'll have lots of clean clothes when I'm out. And then I also need to pick up a spare tire for the bus from somewhere, or order one. I'd been thinking of just getting a used tire. It's just a spare tire, it shouldn't be that big of a deal, but I haven't seen anything that I'm willing to put on my bus. The next thing I need to do is do some recordings for the piano. I want to have a little bit of a catalog of music to work with for my videos. And the last thing I need to do this weekend is I need to do some trip planning. I have a pretty good idea of where I want to go, but I wanted to put together at least a framework of where I'm going to travel to. Personally, I don't like having things too planned out, but having no plan whatsoever tends to go badly for me. So just having a general idea of where the campgrounds are and how far apart everything is, and just a general timeline of where I'm going to head is probably the best idea. So I'm going to assemble that this weekend as well, and then I should be all set for next week. But first I need to stow everything. I need to plug in my phone because apparently I turned it on last night and it stayed on, and I was laying on it, so it ran out of power overnight. I'm going to head just straight to the campground for right now. So I made it out to Commando Island here, and I'm just down on the beach just waiting for the campground to open up. So I just got some lunch, and now I can start doing some of the work that I need to get done. So I'll probably order the tires and get my car insurance canceled for my car that I sold. So those are the two major things that I can do remotely. If I have time after that, then I can start planning my trip. Alright, so I've been looking at spare tires to see if I could come up with something for a spare tire. And my ideal solution was just to go and buy another new tire that matches the ones that I have. Just get a wheel and tire combination set. Last time I looked, it would have been about $300 something like that, a little bit over $300. If I went for just a cheaper tire just to use as a spare that I could just swap out, could have gone down to something like $280, something like that. So nothing too crazy. But unfortunately, it looks like tire prices have increased by about 30% since I bought the tires for the bus, and which wasn't that long ago. I mean, this was just a few months ago. And so now if I just bought that one wheel and tire, it would cost me about $400, a little bit over $400. The lowest I could get it would be about $380. So that's kind of crazy. So what I'm planning on doing is I have to do my laundry tomorrow anyways, and there's a used tire shop near there that apparently is pretty decent. But I'll give them a call tomorrow and see if they have anything in my size. But that's about the best I can do. What I did manage to accomplish was I've been waiting for quite a while, was I've had that Velcro I was planning on using to put up my foam panels and my curtain. And so I did install the curtain, finally. So as you can see, it's Velcroed to the roof, and actually seems to work just fine. It's definitely holding up better than the magnets. My only slight concern is that I do think that the Velcro is actually a little bit stronger than the adhesive that holds it together. And the adhesive doesn't seem to stick all that well actually to the bus itself, which is kind of surprising me. I mean, it's a smooth, clean surface. It should stick fairly well, but apparently it doesn't, and could just be the paint, could be some sort of non-stick kind of paint. When I was doing the test piece, I found that when I tried to separate the Velcro, it pulled off of the ceiling from the bus, so we'll see if that happens here. I'm planning on taking down the curtain once things warm up a bit, but it's still like upper 30s here. It's like 38 degrees here today, so I don't have to worry about that for a little while. As you can see, I did take the foam panels down out of the bus, and I have to say, it's really nice having these windows here again. Having those windows is really good, so I'll probably leave the panels off for now, and I'll put them on tonight, so I'll get the Velcro all hooked up so they'll be ready for the panels. And that should be okay. I've been using this strategy for attaching the Velcro. It seems to work pretty well. The Velcro comes on a roll with 2 strips, so one side's the fuzzy side, one side has the hooks on it. What I'm doing is attaching one of the sides to the wall of the bus, and then just putting the other piece with the cover for the sticky stuff on there. And then when I mount the panel, I just put the panel where I want it and then press it against the adhesive, and it sticks to the panel. So that seems to work pretty well. The panel is up there now. The question is, can I pull it off without damaging either the panel or ripping the Velcro off the side of the bus? So let's see. Nope. So you can see the foam is just kind of stuck on there. So I might have to get some different glue that actually has some amount of strength to it to glue the Velcro onto everything, but I think this idea is right. It just needs a little bit of refining to make it work. I've found this with a lot of adhesives. There's a lot of good adhesives out there, but for whatever reason, they just don't use them. And that seems to be the case with the adhesive they use on the Velcro. Like, why would you use an adhesive that is weaker than the Velcro itself? How does that make sense? So, a little bit of tinkering here and there, I can figure it out. But I'm still pretty happy with the way that works, and the panels aren't going to fall off anyways while they're in place. But it's time to head up to the campground. It's 2:30, which is when the campgrounds are open for registration. Not that I'm too terribly concerned about getting a spot, but I do need to get up there, and I definitely need a shower. Another thing that I noticed is, I don't know if you can read it on the camera, but my refrigerator is telling me that my batteries are at about 12.9 volts. So this morning my battery was down to almost 12 volts, something like that. So my solar panel actually is charging the batteries finally again. It's sunny out, which is step one, and one of those very unusual things to see in the winter around here. And the sun seems to be high enough that it's actually hitting the solar panel now. So that's really good news for me. I'm happy to see that, and we'll see how high voltage we can get. I've been having to run my generator about once a week, and I always try to run it after dark because sometimes if it's sunny out, I can actually generate enough power with my solar panel to extend the amount of time between generator runs. Right now, I only have 100 watts of solar. It's actually enough to power my refrigerator, which is really the only thing that needs to run most of the time. But my system can handle, I think, up to 300 watts. And so eventually I would like to add 2 more solar panels to the roof. I've been really happy with the performance of this one. I'm just waiting until I fix all my roof leaks, and I'm gonna have to repaint the roof probably to fix it. So that's gonna be a project for the summer. Okay, so it's time for a shower, and I need to go pay my camp fees. Kind of funny, there's doesn't seem to be hardly anyone here. There's, I think, 2 campers I saw, and the camp host is gone. So I'm pretty much here by myself. So that's actually really nice. I like it when this campground's nice and quiet. So my shower is done, and now I have to call my car insurance company and see if I can get that car insurance canceled since I don't have my car anymore. Not really sure why I can't just do this online, aside from the fact that I know they're going to try to keep me around for some reason or another, and so I'll have to work through their sales excuses. 2 things I really don't like are insurance and pushy salespeople, and this is kind of the worst of both worlds, and I put it off for as long as I can, so I just got to do it now. Alright, so my car insurance was canceled. I ended up getting $50 back because it happened 2 weeks ago. But that's awesome. I got that done. They actually didn't hassle me too much. They asked me if I had another car that I wanted to insure, and I told them that I was living full-time in a school bus that I had insured through someone else, and they were like, yeah, okay, that's great. They had no interest in even trying with that one. So, I'm really happy that they didn't give me a hard time there. So yeah, that's another $100 a month that I don't have to worry about, and an extra $50 that I didn't plan on, so sweet. Just one more thing down for this weekend. Okay, so the sun's gone down enough that we're now at 12.7 volts. So it's really not all that bad. I am actually pretty happy with the way my solar panel has been performing. It just doesn't put out quite enough, especially this time of year, and it's hazy out, it's kind of foggy, and the sun's super low in the sky still. So, time to fire up the generator, get that battery recharged, and I'm actually going to do some route planning first, and then piano stuff. Alright, so I have my generator running down there. Kind of an unusual place for me to put it, but there's a steep hill down the side of this campsite, so if I put it down the hill a little bit, I don't think my neighbors will be able to hear it very well. Just want to keep the noise down. Even though my closest neighbor is, of course, running their generator right now, I just don't want to cause any disturbances, and I do have to run it for about 4 hours is usually what it takes to get a full charge. But I only have to do that once a week. In case you're wondering, I don't actually have it connected to the bus's alternator right now. I don't have a charging system hooked up that way. And the reason I didn't do that is because I'm mostly stationary at the moment, and it doesn't make any sense for me to do that. I wouldn't get a full charge, and it would be expensive, and it just doesn't make any sense. I already had the generator anyways. So I'm pretty happy with this setup. If I do end up being able to really hit the road full time and travel every day, then I might actually consider doing that, even if it does kill my alternator and I have to get a new one or something. It would definitely be worth it to have charging available through the engine, but it's just not where I am right now, so I'm just kind of working with what I have, and it works pretty well. Okay, so back to planning the trip here. I'm just doing this now because I'm going to be busy tomorrow with other stuff, and during the work week I may or may not have time depending on how long my hours are. If they're anything like they have been the last week or two, you know, at least I'm getting lots of overtime, but wouldn't be a lot of time for trip planning. Okay, so looking at the schedule, I just looked up to see how many hours a day of daylight I'm going to have, and it looks like it's actually going to be about 9.5, which is really nice. I think we're about 9 right now. Back in the middle of winter, around the solstice, we usually have closer to 8, So having a full 9 hours is actually really, really nice. But I don't want to be driving in the dark, so what I'm thinking is I'll give it about 6 hours of driving, something like that. And that'll give me 3 hours of exploring or whatever. But that more or less there. It'll just depend on exactly where I'm headed. But I should have quite a decent range if I'm doing that. And who knows, there's could be plenty of stuff to stop and look at along the way. So my first plan actually was to head out to the Olympic Peninsula and then kind of head down the coast that way. I figured it would keep me relatively close to Seattle in case something went wrong, and it would be all fun and everything. There's lots of free campgrounds out there. The only problem is a lot of them are inaccessible right now. Apparently they got hit really hard with some of the storms in the fall, and most of the campgrounds are no longer accessible, and a lot of the trails are washed out and the roads aren't great. So I'm not going to be doing that. I think I might end up having to head to a warmer climate. I thought going down to the Oregon coast might be another alternative, but nah, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. So instead I'm going to just head south, basically. Okay, so it looks like I'm probably going to be heading down towards the Arizona area, at least to start off with. It makes a lot of sense for me to head down that way. I should have plenty of money to get down there and back, and plenty of money for supplies if anything breaks or anything like that. So I'm not too worried about the distance or anything. Getting down there could be kind of interesting from here. One of the things about Western Washington and Western Oregon as well is that we're kind of blocked in on 3 sides by mountain ranges, and then on the north by Canada. So no matter which direction I go, I basically end up having to go through a mountain pass or the Columbia River Gorge, which I suppose is actually another pretty decent option. But no matter what happens, I'm definitely going to be driving through some cold weather. Looks like it should only take me maybe 2, possibly 3 days, depending on how intense I want to be with my driving. Fortunately, I won't have to make that many stops along the way, but I will probably be driving through some fairly cold weather, potentially hazardous conditions, but I figure as long as I stick to the main roads, it should be okay. I'm going to try to avoid California, but it may be I end up having to go through a little bit of it. There's a couple of reasons for that, but the main one is just the price of fuel. No matter what I do, I'm not going to spend that much time in California, but the cost of fuel there is just insane, and I do get between 15 and 16 miles per gallon, so I would prefer to avoid that, but I can make it work if I need to. I think mostly the key is just going to be sticking to the main roads until I get far enough south that things are a little bit warmer. And of course it's going to mean that I'm going to have to keep a very close eye on weather conditions the entire length of the trip as well. But these are all things that I know how to do. I'm actually pretty excited. This is the direction I was hoping to go originally. I had actually thought of the Olympic Peninsula plan just as a safer, less expensive option. That would let me build money a little bit faster, but I just don't think it's worth it. And not to mention I can drive the entire Washington coast in about a day and also get down pretty much the length of the Oregon coast in about another day. So even if I decided to do that, I'd have to make a lot of stops, and which wouldn't be entirely bad. I'd get a lot of hiking in or something, but this time of year, hiking and outdoor activities just aren't that much fun in that part of the world. So anyways, let me know in the comments which direction you think I should go, and I'm definitely leaning towards Arizona and that direction, and just let me know how you think I should get there. It should be a really fun drive. Well, it's noon the next day here, and I did get some practicing in last night. I didn't decide exactly what I wanted to record, and I was getting really tired anyways, and so any recording wouldn't have been great. But I did get some good practicing in, so I'll be all set to do some more recording tonight. Hopefully I can record something that should sound good on my videos. We'll see. But I'm pretty excited about that. Really, the only 2 things I have left to do today are I need to look into that used tire situation. Now that I've slept on it, I'm kind of thinking that maybe I should just get a new tire for my spare tire. And after doing some research as well on what other people have done, I think just getting a new tire and eating the cost of that is probably the smart thing to do. Just have to find somewhere to ship it to. But we'll see what's going on in the used tire world, if anyone even has anything in my tire size, we'll see. I'm not really all that confident about that. Anyways, I need to just pack up everything. The bus is actually pretty clean. I have trash I need to take out, stop by the dumpster, and of course I need to empty the toilet. I'll stop by the dump station, see if the dump station here is any better than the last one I was at, and get that taken care of, and then we should be all set to go. You know, I keep thinking through all the things that could possibly go wrong, and all the little details, and making lists to make sure that everything's been done that needs to be done. I'm running out of excuses of why I need to go anywhere. Obviously there's things that could be different, could be a little bit better, but nothing that would hold me back from, you know, taking a longer trip like this. Also, after sleeping on it, I do think heading south is probably my smartest option. I don't know if I'll make it all the way down to Arizona or anything like that, but just driving south until things warm up a little bit at least. So I think I have a pretty good idea of where I'm headed, and I have everything I need to go. There really isn't anything holding me back at this point. So it's just time to pack everything up and head over to the laundromat, do some laundry. I would like to stop by Home Depot so I get another one of the cement blocks so I can use my jack correctly. And then I think we should be pretty much all set to go. Alright, well I just emptied out my toilet. I was hoping I could use the dump station, but the dump station was closed. So my toilet is basically just a glorified bucket system, and you can just dump it in toilets. At least I've never had any problems with that. Just remember to bring some cleaning supplies if you have one of these things. I would recommend anyone that is planning their new build to either make or buy a composting toilet. I used to have one on my sailboat back in my sailboat days, and it was way easier to empty out, and yeah, it was just better all around. However, this toilet came with the bus, and so that's what I have, and I might as well use it. I just have to remember to bring cleaning supplies, and there's always a little bit of a mess left over in the bathroom if I'm using a bathroom. So gross, but moving on, let's head over to the laundromat. That was a little unusual. The laundromat had a completely full parking lot. Part of that was actually there was another van lifer there, which the vans do take up a little bit more room than a regular car, but still a little surprising to see that I can't do laundry at the moment. But fortunately I had to go to Home Depot, and I had a couple things I needed to stop and pick up at the grocery store first, so I'm going to do that, and then we'll head back to the laundromat. If it's closed, then I'll just wait. I can wait another week and it'll be okay. Just do laundry on the road, I guess. Well, I stopped at the grocery store, picked up some food, and I remember why I like to do things early in the morning, especially shopping, if I can. Parking lots are completely full, there's tons of traffic everywhere. It's just a pain doing anything now. But I made it over to Home Depot, and I just have a couple of things I need to pick up, and then I'll be heading out. Alright, so now I have 2 bricks, so that should be high enough that I can easily jack up the bus. They are a little bit heavy, but you know what, $1.50 each, I can't complain too much. I'll probably put them in the giant hole next to the door there, and I can haul them out whenever I need them, but hopefully they just stay in there, and I don't know, and I never have to use them. The way this always seems to work for me anyways, is once I'm prepared for a problem to happen, that problem just never happens. So that's why it's really important that I get the jack ready, I have the socket ready, and then I just need the spare tire, and I'm good to go. I don't have to worry about getting a flat tire, and of course once I have those things, I'm almost guaranteed to never have a problem with my tires. So I look forward to that happening. Okay, so I'm gonna stop by and see if the laundromat has any free parking. It might not, and if it doesn't, then I'm just gonna head back towards work and do some recording tonight. I'm definitely a lot more awake today, finally catching up on sleep. I think sleeping in really late this morning was actually really helpful. I really do have to recover from those long hours, walking, 15 miles a day with packages and stuff. It's a lot of hard work, and I do have to recover from that kind of thing. Alright, so I'll head past the laundromat and we'll see what I can find. If there's anything useful there, then... Well, the good news is the laundry place does have parking, and that means I can get my laundry done. So the only thing that I have left to worry about is my spare tire this weekend. Everything else I think is totally doable, because the only other thing I have to do is do some piano recording. So this is really exciting. But first I've got to take the laundry in. Okay, so while the machine is running and washing my clothes, I'm going to see if I can take care of this tire problem and see if I can find something that I can use as a spare tire. Okay, well, so my laundry's done. Still no luck on that spare tire. I still have a few places that I can call and see if I can find something that'll work, but I need to head back to the parking lot at work. There's really no reason to hang around here.